Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week 5 of the Philly Pod. It's Monday, September 12th. I'm your host, Dave, along with my co-host and my buddy, Mike. Mikey, what's going on, man?
Not much, Dave. I'm doing pretty well, especially after yesterday.
Ooh, I'm doing pretty well, too. Pretty big, pretty exciting week 1 of the NFL season.
Oh, very exciting.
Yeah, and, exciting for Eagles fans, especially for Carson Wentz. And, we're going to get into that here in a minute. But big weekend, obviously a very historic weekend with yesterday, or since this will be uploaded Tuesday, 2 days ago, Sunday was the 15th anniversary of 9/11. Pretty significant event in our country's history, and there was a lot of patriotism on display.
Definitely
Sunday, which was really nice to see.
I'll tell you what, I remember exactly where I was when those events went down. It's still fresh in my mind.
For sure, all of us. That was, you always hear about the previous generation, how they had the Kennedy assassination, and
this is all.
For our generation, right? It's 9/11 will always be that moment, and where you remember exactly where you were at that moment in time when you first heard about it. But it was great to see some nice tributes all around between President Bush and President Obama.
Yes.
The sign of unification by the Seahawks was pretty cool. Just a lot of patriotism on display this weekend, which was just awesome.
It was
awesome to see. But big game for the Philadelphia Eagles. Got a win week 1 over the Cleveland Browns. We both correctly predicted that. And man, a lot of good things from that Eagles game, man.
You could pick it. It was all around a very good win. Obviously some flaws, but a big win for sure in the debut of Carson Wentz. And Doug Pederson. Yeah,
oh, absolutely. It was a game they should have won. No doubt about it. That was a team they should have beaten. They should have beaten that team. Should have beaten that team exactly the way they did. I think you're right. There are some flaws that were, I don't know if I want to say exposed quite. I guess they were kind of exposed. The Eagles definitely have some flaws, but still a good win. Took care of business against, man, what's really still bad Cleveland Browns team. I mean, dude, how much longer are they going to be bottom of the barrel?
As long as they can't find a quarterback.
Yeah, RG3. I got bad news for you on your sleeper, man. RG3, bust. Out. Dude, he comes back. First week he comes back, and he's injured. Now he's on IR with a broken bone in his shoulder, which I can't recall the last time I heard of an injury like that.
Well, he does have a label, injury prone.
No, he is. He doesn't slide.
No.
So ridiculous. He sat out for a year and a half in the league and still didn't learn how to slide. Still didn't figure that out. But in any event, it wasn't the play of the Cleveland Browns quarterback that drew headlines. One Carson Wentz making his NFL debut against the Cleveland Browns. Man, the kid looked good, man. I mean, that's borderline one of the most impressive QB performances I've ever seen. When you consider the fact that he had zero game time against an NFL caliber defense in the preseason, really in his entire career. I mean, that is such an impressive performance.
I'll tell you what, man. He made some great passes. The one that really stuck out to me, really there were two, but the one that really stuck out to me was that first touchdown pass to Jordan Matthews. That was on a dime.
On a 4th and 4 play. Which we'll get into that in a second with Doug Pederson. Great call. But, man, that was a beautiful throw. He stood in there in the pocket. He just dropped it in, he said, like a dime. Perfect over the shoulder, to the back pylon. I mean, man, that was sweet. That got me where I was just sort of like, wow, that was an impressive drive. First NFL drive ends in a touchdown.
Yeah. Some stats here: 22 for 37, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no INTs. I'll take that.
Dude, no turnovers. Took care of the football. The kid is smart. Like, I mean, one thing they weren't kidding about, his football intelligence, his football IQ, off the charts. He just does so many smart things. Gets rid of the football when he's in trouble, throws it away. He's just very, very smart.
To the idiot who said he had a slow release, you He doesn't have a slow release.
The release looked pretty good on that fourth down pass to Zach Ertz going across the middle, huh?
Yeah. I mean, and you think about it. How many quarterbacks have the Cleveland Browns gone through since they came back into the league?
It's some ridiculous number. Yeah, it's some ridiculous
at least
number.
15.
And they passed on him.
Yeah.
They could have drafted Carson Wentz, and they made the deal. So right now, it's 1 week, and it was against the Cleveland Browns, but Carson Wentz looked good.
It's against an NFL defense too.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't an FCS team. You're talking about an NFL team, a pro NFL team, and he looked good. He looked solid.
Well, that was the most surprising thing to me. I mean, you consider really the last time, other than week 1 of the preseason, he saw game action. Like you said, it was at the FCS level at North Dakota State. So to come in from that and to play the way he did against an NFL caliber defense, I mean, I said it before. That was a special performance. I really do believe that. Now, again, I know it's the Cleveland Browns, but still, like you said, it's an NFL team that he did that against.
Couldn't expect it of any more out of the kid if you tried.
No turnovers. I mean, and he hung in there a couple times, took some big hits to get rid of the football. He's tough.
He is.
He's tough, man. There were a lot of things that went well. Really, the only complaint I have against Carson Wentz would be his pre- and post-game wardrobe attire. See, from that, you probably had a chance to see it. Now, my man rolled up, okay, button-up shirt and khaki pants. In fact, we'll put pictures of this up there. He rolled up in the exact same outfit to the game, rolled up in that outfit, and wore the exact same outfit at the post-game press conference. I mean, Carson, come on, man. Like, you just had the game of your life. You just got paid all that money. Spend a little bit on a suit. All right? You can go to Burlington Coat Factory, find a cheap $100 suit. All right? Get yourself a nice tie, nice shirt from Sears, and then you're good to go. All right, $115. Come on, man. You're not in North Dakota anymore. Man. That's my only... That would be my only complaint with Carson Wentz.
Hey, would you rather him beat Tom Brady and wear Uggs?
Yes, I would. Because that would mean Tom Brady's wearing the Uggs, and that would mean he has 4 Super Bowl rings as well. So yes, I would take him as Tom Brady wearing the Uggs. All right, but nah, he played a great game. First NFL game.
And I'll tell you what helped. I think what helped was definitely the balance in the game.
Doug Pederson came out with a great game plan, I thought.
Looked at some stats. Doug Pederson, 37 passes to 34 runs. When was the last time you saw that and thought off you?
Well, Chip Kelly certainly had his fair share of balanced attacks, but the thing that was more eye-opening to me was the fact that as long as they held the ball, I think they held the ball in this game for, what was it, like 39 minutes?
39 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, even Zach Ertz said it after the game. Said he felt like they were on the field the entire game.
It helps the defense.
And you're right. And listen, the defense is good, but the secondary's bad. Okay, and specifically the corners. They got burned on some deep passes we're going to get into in here in a minute. Smart thing, keep them off the field.
Yep.
Keep them off the field, ball control, a nice balanced attack. And I thought Doug Pederson did a great job with that. They came out, they established the run early with Ryan Matthews, Kenyon Barner, Darren Sproles. And I believe that helped take some of the load off of him, And they opened it up. They came out throwing, but once they established the run, and they were right. They said they weren't going to hold back. They were going to open up the playbook for him, and they did.
Chip Kelly would not have done that. I almost guarantee.
I'm done talking about Chip, man. The heck with Chip. He's playing tonight in San Francisco. They're going to lose. Whatever. I'm tired of talking about Chip.
I would.
We got a new era here, new quarterback, a new system.
Fresh air.
We have a lot of fresh air going on here, and it was nice to see. And I tell you, I was impressed with Doug Pederson in his first game.
I was too.
I have to be honest. I mean, listening to him in the preseason, all throughout the offseason, I wasn't really blown away by him. But there were a lot of little things that he did that I really liked.
I'll tell you what I really liked. The halftime interview, he just brought that a little more energy. He seemed like he had that upbeat, energy that you need as a head coach. And I like the fact that he jogged into the locker room. He didn't walk, he jogged.
That means something to you?
He's got that energy. That's what you look for in a coach. Good energy.
Oh, yeah, good. I mean, I don't know that jogging or walking into the locker room really has an impact on that, but like just some little things that I noticed. The 2-minute drill, at the end of the first half, they got the field goal. I thought that was ran really, really well. And it dawned on me as we came to the 2-minute warning, we had all 3 timeouts left. I mean, so there were zero major clock management issues. They never had to worry about getting the play in, didn't have to take a timeout for that. Now, one game, okay, but that was one of the worries of mine. Coming from Andy Reid, I wasn't sure if he was going to follow the Andy Reid School of Time Management, but I liked what I saw in that department.
That was definitely impressive, and we talked about it yesterday, during the game. That was an impressive 2-minute drill.
It was nice. It's nice to see.
Yeah, to have all 3 timeouts, under 2 minutes, definitely take that.
Some of that goes back to Carson Wentz. Like, you can just see it. Like, he does have a presence about him when he's on that field, when he's in that huddle. I mean, how nice was it to see our quarterback, okay, making pre-snap reads. All the bowling, checking down, going to hot routes. Using a hard count, and not, the Chip Kelly bogus hard, a legitimate hard count.
He got some of those defenders to jump offside.
He got in the jump. Dude, that's huge. That's the stuff you always see the greats like Tom Brady, and who really does well. Aaron Rodgers is the best in the league at utilizing that hard count and getting guys to jump. And once you get that, and you have that free play, like, it's huge. And I love seeing that. Like, I'm legitimately excited. It takes a lot to get me excited for when I'm, about a player. But
I've known you for just about 10 years, and I would agree with that statement right there.
It's just, man, the kid's got it.
He's
got it. It's exciting. We got ourselves a franchise quarterback. Now I'm gonna wait before going full blown on him because I want to see how he does when we get to the tough stretch. Because there was no game film out on him aside what he did in North Dakota. Okay, now I want to see what happens when teams start game planning for him, and when they start making adjustments. I want to see how he counter adjusts,
especially against the better defenses. You're going to see Seattle, you're going to see Green Bay.
Yeah,
there are definitely some better defenses out there that will definitely be more prepared than this Cleveland Browns team. Not to take anything away from his performance, but
they're better teams.
Yeah.
They're going against better teams than the Browns for sure.
I mean, you're talking about the AFC North and NFC North. Those are 2 very tough divisions.
Not to mention, you see the Seahawks.
And the divisional rivals, of course.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how he handles it. I'm just curious to see what happens when teams start game planning for him. But a couple of the other things that stood out, going back to Doug Pederson, I liked his aggression, going for it on 4th down a couple times in Cleveland territory. I liked it. Showed a lot of confidence in his defense. You're in that awkward range where, you could kick a long field goal, punt, or go for it. And I love the aggression. Went for it. And he made some good play calls.
He did.
The 4th and 4, in the first quarter, he goes for it. And then, you end up getting the touchdown pass. And then you had, I believe it was 4th and 5, where Cleveland just brought the house on the blitz. And Carson Wentz got the ball out quick and was able to find Zach Ertz across the middle. I liked what I saw. I liked the decision making from Doug Pederson. He was decisive. I thought he called a great game. I think he says balanced, established the run, had some good play action passes to go off of that. It was an impressive debut, really, on all fronts by both of those guys.
Nelson Aguilar. We had a Nelson Aguilar sighting yesterday.
Did. And you mentioned over Joe Hayden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not some scrub, quarterback you're talking about.
Now, it goes back to an interesting point. Nelson Aguilar. How good is Nelson Aguilar? I'm still skeptical on how good he really is. But the one thing that is a fact is that the great quarterbacks in this league, they elevate the play of those around them. And I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. I'm not going there. Okay. All I'm saying is that someone like Nelson Aguilar, who had a really, really poor first season, made some plays, and he had a good game. Now, is that directly related to Carson Wentz being in there? Too soon to tell. Too soon to tell. We gotta wait till around week 8 to know that for sure. But for all the positives there's some negatives. Still too many drops. I thought. I mean, Darren Sproles had a couple right in his hands that he dropped, which is a problem for him last year as well. Jordan Matthews had a couple drops there. Had one to open the game. A bad drop. Had one later in the game as well. Drops are still an issue.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
But that comes back to the receiving core. While good, it's still not strong. But one thing I will say is pop back into my head on Darren Sproles. I loved the way they utilized Sproles. Utilized him more in that role he had in New Orleans. You know, coming out of the backfield, you swing him out, get him involved in the passing game, some spot runs here and there.
Like a Brian Westbrook.
Yeah. I thought in one game, Doug Pederson did a better job utilizing Darren Sproles and his skill set than Chip Kelly did over the last 2 years. So that's a big weapon for him. And I'll tell you what, Ryan Matthews is like we thought. Boy, Ryan Matthews runs hard. Good running back. He stays healthy. He's going to be really helpful to this team.
Definitely take a load off some of the other running backs.
He'll take a load off, and he's going to take a load off the kid, too.
Yep.
He'll take a big load off Carson Wentz's shoulders. But back to the negatives. The corners are still weak.
I mean, we knew this too. Yeah. Like, this isn't something that just popped up. This is something we definitely knew, and I think that they'll have a tougher time next week because they got some good receivers out there in Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, they got burned by Terrell Pryor a couple times on a deep, on a jump ball a couple times.
Triple team too.
Yeah, Corey Coleman burned them a couple times. It's like we talked about. If the D line, if the front four aren't getting home and the blitzes aren't getting home, the secondary is a liability. The safeties are fine, but the corners are bad, and it's a fear of mine, which we'll talk about next week. I'm concerned about Alshon Jeffrey going up against this secondary. He's the sort of receiver that's going to give them fits, especially if the blitzes aren't getting home.
One thing that I think that we had last year, at least in the early part of last year, that I think will still be a good thing for the Eagles is as long as they bend but they don't break defensively.
That was the big thing under Jim Johnson.
Yep.
There was always, hey, you get all those yards, but when it came down inside the 20s, they also only gave up field goals. Their red zone defense was always very, very good under Jim Johnson. So it would be great to see that continue under Jim Schwartz. A couple of injuries that are a shame. Zach Ertz, a displaced rib, and sounds painful. Yeah, as you can imagine, Pederson came out and said definitely not the sort of injury you can play through.
Yeah.
So that's disappointing to hear. That's a big weapon they're losing. They had a great catch.
Yeah.
Had a great catch early on in the game.
The one-handed
catch.
catch.
The one-handed falling away. It was a great catch.
Not to mention, again, Wentz putting it where no one but Ertz could get it.
Yeah, this is another good throw. I mean, he had some really. Sorry, we could go on for the next 12 minutes where we're at, but man, he just played really well.
Another thing I really liked is the fact that he didn't hold on to the football when he felt pressure. He's
got that clock in his head, and you could see it. Like
he got out of the pocket and got rid of the ball.
Yeah, and you could always see that. But someone with Nick Foles that always drove me nuts. He held on to the ball too long. He didn't have that clock in his head. Couldn't feel the rush. And you always think back to the game he got hurt at against the Redskins where he threw it, got hit from behind. It's just little things like that where he just, you got to have that sixth sense. You got to know when the rush is coming. You got to have a feel for that. And Foles didn't have that. But you hit it on the head, man. Carson Wentz, he has all the intangibles.
He does. It's just a matter of developing him and seeing, if he can have that success moving forward.
Nah, you're right. It's that, and it's how's he going to respond when he has a poor game? Because it's going to happen.
Yep,
it's going to happen. More than likely, it's going to happen this year. So how does he bounce back from that?
I think that'll be something we'll probably see in week 3. The only thing that might save him is the fact that if you come off a bad game in week 3, you had the bye week 4, so you could probably take some time and think about that.
Yeah.
But I think that stretch where we have Green Bay and Seattle in back-to-back weeks,
Well, it's gonna be a test.
That's where I think that'll come into effect.
Yeah, and you could be right. You have some pretty experienced defensive coordinators and players on both of those teams. But until then, hey, great week 1 win for the Eagles. It's a good start. I still like him against the Bears Monday night. We'll have our, we'll get into that next week, next Monday. The Eagles are on Monday Night Football, and obviously we record Monday night, so we'll break that game down then. But I'll tell you, I'm not worried about the Bears.
No.
Jay Cutler against this defense, and the defense got another nice turnover. The
tip ball drill.
Yeah, the tip ball. Yeah, and they capitalized on it. So, having said that, I'm not worried about their chances going forward. But a couple other things we want to talk about, as we're winding down. Another big, obviously Philly Sports Weekend coming up. We've got this weekend the Temple Penn State game. The Temple Owls traveling up to Happy Valley, taking on the Nittany Lions, where the Nittany Lions are solid 8.5-point favorites over the Owls. Probably just take a little time to talk about this game. Pretty neat little rivalry going on here. Obviously, Temple took it last year, and the best season in program history for the Owls. That line's probably about right. I don't think Temple's got the guns to hang with Penn State this year.
Happy Valley is a tough place to play. They're the 3rd largest stadium in the country, and rightfully so. You see the success they had there. I would agree with that line.
Yeah, and that's my alma mater. For those of you guys that don't know. But the loss to Army was a red flag to me. That okay, I had high hopes going into this year, but losing to Army opening week was a red flag to me. And seeing the way Penn State was able to come back against Pitt, from the large deficit, almost take that game. I think Penn State's got them outclassed here.
I'm going to defend you here. I know it was a tough loss, but at least Army's 2-0 now, so. Got that going for you. First time since 1996.
Yeah, I mean, Temple had a nice bounce back last week with the shutout, but I don't see it. I think Penn State gets their revenge from last year. It's at home, it's a revenge game. Yeah, I don't see Temple pulling this one off. Just looking at this, I mean, it's interesting because they're 2 pretty evenly matched teams. When I look at Temple's rankings, total offense, Temple is 117. Total offense, Penn State is 81st. Total defense, though, Temple's actually ranked 18th in the country. Total defense. It's 2 games, but they're ranked 18th early on. Penn State's 66th. Temple's offense, Temple's offense running the football, 96th. They're 116 passing. Penn State run the football. They're 108 passing. They are 39th. I didn't realize they were that good. That's pretty good on Penn State's part. And defensively, we said Temple's 18th overall. Only 99th against the run, but first against the pass. So that's an interesting matchup right there.
That is.
That'll be an interesting dynamic to see how that's played out. And then Penn State's defense, 115th against the run and 17th against the pass. They're kind of an interesting dynamic for this game. Both teams kind of similar. They don't really run the ball well, and neither really stop the run that well. So kind of an interesting dynamic going on there. And then you have Penn State's passing offense going up against Temple D, which is still pretty tough. Still really, really good defense. I just don't think Temple's offense is going to play that well.
Yeah.
I mean, Philip Walker, formerly P.J. Walker, off to a really, really poor start this year. 3 touchdowns, 4 picks through the first couple of games. I believe his completion percentage, I think, was 46%. Yeah, not playing really well to start. And on the other side, you got Trace McSorley for the Nittany Lions, off to a really strong start so far. So, if I had to get, usually a lot of times, games come down to quarterback play, and right now I think Penn State's got really the better offense and better overall team and better quarterback right now.
Not to mention, it's a tough crowd, like you've mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick that game, I would probably take Penn State to cover that. That's a really hard place to go into.
I would agree.
And win. But, we'll see. The Owls surprised us a lot last year, and you never know.
Always a possibility.
Yeah, always is.
Any given Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And then you also got the World Cup of Hockey starting up.
Yeah.
Saturday, right?
Yeah.
That's this Saturday, the 17th.
Yes, 17th.
Right? And that's when the first games start. I thought we'd mention this really quick because Claude Giroux for Team Canada has been drawing some headlines.
Yeah, Joe Pavelski targeted him.
Yeah, he's being targeted in these friendlies so far. And that got me thinking, with him being targeted, the Flyers really need him playing in this, coming off that surgery?
No.
I mean, you're Mr. Hockey. What do you think of this?
I think it's a very dangerous thing to have going on.
Is that common in international friendlies? They're targeting the guy?
Not really. I think at the Olympics, it's not as common, but in the World Cup of Hockey, you're playing for your country, but I don't see the reason why you need to have these pros playing in such a big event.
Well, because for me, I mean, hey, listen, you want to represent your country, hey, that's fine, but if I'm the Flyers, I start to look at this, I'm like, now, wait a second. This is our franchise guy, coming off surgery that limited him in the playoffs. I would be pretty ticked off if my guy got taken out, in an international friendly, and then, we lose him for the season. And really, the Flyers making the playoffs again, a lot of it's going to hinge on Claude Giroux's shoulders.
Oh, definitely.
So it was just interesting. Like, I don't know. You guys can, leave us thoughts on Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Flyers Nation. Is it worth him playing in it? I'm not sure it is.
No.
The Flyers, I'm surprised, they didn't have a little talk with old G and think about maybe holding him out of that.
There's too much for the Flyers this year, but again, going back to the World Cup of Hockey, I think that it seems pointless.
What, the World Cup of Hockey or him playing?
Yeah, the World Cup of Hockey.
So you're not a fan of it?
I mean, I'm a fan, but I can understand why someone would see it being pointless. I mean, they haven't had it since 2004.
Sort of like the World Baseball Classic.
The World Baseball Classic is a little different in the sense that,
how so?
It's not a physical sport. It's not a physical sport. Yeah, you can
it is. Well, I'll give you an example. Maikel Franco is playing in the World Baseball Classic. Someone for Team Cuba takes action for the way he hits a home run. And they think, you know what, he's not getting away with that. Next time he comes up, boom, they throw at him, break his arm, and he's out for 4 months.
Good point. But I'm talking about in terms of the physicality where, someone gets checked from behind into the boards, you get a concussion. That can ruin a career. That can ruin a career.
Yeah, but that could happen in the World Baseball Classic, too. So, I mean, that really comes back to the point, are these, whatever you want to call these, are they really necessary? They're cool things, but we've got the Olympics for this stuff.
Yeah. Baseball's coming back at the Olympics.
I don't know. It's just food for thought. It just, I didn't like hearing that. I didn't like hearing our guy, potentially going, being targeted, which could end in a season-ending injury. And the Flyers, are they ready to win the Stanley Cup this year? No. But, any chance, any shot they have at that
goes out the window.
I mean, they need Giroux for that.
They do.
But anyway, we're going to move it along here. Moving on to our Week 2 NFL pick segment. We both broke. Well, we didn't break, but we finished 500 for the week. We both went 1-1. Mike, you narrowly missed out on a 2-0 week. You got shaved by half a point, man. Green Bay 4-point winners.
Yeah.
All missed covering the spread by that half a point. But we're here to bring you Lead Pipe Locks of the Week. I'm going to lead it off here. Now, last week I went with 2 dogs. All right. This week. By the way, this is really hard to pick these games against the spread on a Monday night before the game because the lines can move so much. And that impacts the way you go. But we're gamers.
Yes.
All right, we're still going to give you our initial reactions to the lines, and regardless of what happens, we stick with them. So Week 2, like I said, I like 2 favorites. I'm going up to New England with Mr. Jimmy Garoppolo and that impressive showing he had, that impressive debut he had last night. The New England Patriots are 6.5-point favorites against the Miami Dolphins. I say that's fool's gold with the Miami Dolphins hanging in, almost beating the Seahawks. Give me the Patriots to cover the 6.5 points at home. Jimmy Garoppolo's debut at home. I like him the way he looked last night. Give me the Pats to cover the 6.5. I'm going to the Sunday night game. That new stadium they have in Minnesota. Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Green Bay are 2.5-point favorites on the road, and I like them on the road. Green Bay showed a lot of grit, a lot of tough. I think they're looking for revenge for that game last year where the Vikings got them at Lambeau Field to win the division. I like the Green Bay Packers with revenge on their mind to cover the 2.5. Mikey, who you got?
I got Baltimore, a favorite in this game. Baltimore, I got them beating Cleveland in Cleveland.
What's the line?
7. They're favored by 7.
Okay.
I expect them to cover, especially with RG3 being out.
That's probably a good pick. Yeah.
And I got a dog.
Okay, who you got?
I got San Francisco traveling to Carolina. Carolina is favored by 14. I expect San Fran to cover that spread.
They're going to cover. You
Yes.
got San Fran covering. That's gutsy. Haven't even seen them play yet tonight. You got San. We might be doing a side wager on that one. I'm not sure. You want action on that now, or do you want to wait to?
I want action.
You want action now. All right. What do you want to go? You want to go sandwich here?
Yeah.
Sandwich bet.
Yeah.
All right. I'll bet you sandwich that Carolina covers that 14-point spread at home. All right. I ain't buying in the chip out there. All right. See. All right. So we got a side bet there. So there you go. There are plays of the week. I've got New England covering the 6.5 at home against Miami. Take Green Bay 2.5-point favorites on the road at Mini. Mike's got the Ravens at -7 going up against the Browns. And the San Francisco 49ers to cover, not outright winners, they're going to cover the 14-point deficit at on the road at Carolina. Man, I'm tasting that sandwich already, man. I'm tasting that sandwich. I'm feeling D'Alessandro's cheesesteak, man. All right, there you go. Lead pipe locks of the week. Lock them in. Those are your guaranteed winners. All right, so that's going to bring us up to, we're rolling right along here, man.
We are.
All right, our trivia question. And again, well, I think we have to throw the trivia question out from this past week. CBS let the cat out of the bag there. And the answer was, the question was, name the last rookie quarterback to start Game 1 of the NFL season. You heard it was Davey O'Brien, 1939. CBS blew our cover, so we have to throw that out. That's a neutral one, nothing for the audience, nothing for us. But we do have a new trivia question this week, and here it is. Name one Flyer who played in the 2004 World Cup of Hockey. Just give us, there were a couple. We're just asking you for one. Name one who played in the 2004 World Cup of Hockey. Again, honor system. Okay, no Google, anything like that. We're going to take you guys at your word. And just a reminder of the scoreboard. It is still Mike and myself. It's Dave and Mike 1, the viewing audience 0. All right, so you guys had a chance this past week, so you can thank Greg Gumbel, Trent Green, and CBS crew for goofing that up for you guys. But still 1-0, Dave and Mike. So, hit us up at the Philly Pod on Twitter, on YouTube. Leave us comments. If you think you know the answer, go ahead, and then you get a shout-out next week. Speaking of shout-outs, by the way, we have to talk about something really quick.
All right.
You guys have been following our listeners. We've been on SoundCloud. We're not sure we're going to keep going with SoundCloud. We received some shady messages. I sent out our thank yous this week to SoundCloud. And I got one back from user Blast Off Repost. I gave him a thank you message. Said, thanks, make sure you listen. Go Philly Sports. He responds, I'm a Brewers fan. Excuse me, a Bruins fan from Boston. Then ask if we want to repost. So then I started to do some research. And I found that SoundCloud has some issues with people starting fake profiles to basically have fake followers to trick people into paying for their services. So Mike and I, this is something we're going to have to talk about while we're on shout-outs. Thought we might throw it out there in case there's anybody who's looking to start their own. So SoundCloud's a little questionable. So we're not sure we're going to keep going with that, but we're going to go ahead with our shout-outs here. Then we're going to go over to Twitter, where we gained a lot of Twitter followers this week. I'm going to turn it over to the mic for those shout-outs.
On Twitter, we have Philly Sports Talk, Social in Philly, Chris Walker, and Iceman.
Shout-outs for you guys. And on YouTube, gave a new YouTube subscriber, Holla at your boy. And he left us a little comment. We're going to read it here. Holla at your boy. Wants to know, what is the phone number to call into the show at? I want to be your first-time and long-time listener. Hey, holla at your boy. Here's a shout-out for you. Listen, phone lines are coming. All right, we're working on the technical side of it. Phone lines are coming. We'll get the number up there so we can get some live callers going on. We're going to hook you up with that, though. All right, thanks for your comment. And then a pretty neat one. We're going to head to the Phillies pregame live, where we got a shout-out from Phillies pregame live and Comcast Sportsnet host Marshall Harris. Gave the Philly Pod a little shout-out as we were picked for standout stars for the Phillies and Nationals game this past Saturday, the 10th. And, the Phillies going up against Max Scherzer. So we picked Andres Blanco for our standout star because he was hitting .500 for his career with a home run against Scherzer. He gave us a shout-out. We'll put that up there on YouTube for everybody to see. And by the way, just so you know, we know our stuff. Blanco, while the Phillies lost 3-0, Blanco in that game went 1 for 2 with a double, a walk, and a stolen base. So that's a pretty good game against, Cy Young winner Max Scherzer.
Definitely.
Just to reinforce the notion that Philly Pod
knows their stuff.
We know what we're doing here, all right? All right, Mike, what was a good weekend? We're off until Monday to talk about the Eagles. Anything else you want to see?
Just to see the continued success of Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I agree.
And Doug Pederson.
Yeah, I would like to see that. In the meantime, I would love to see a Temple Owls win over the weekend. I don't think I'm going to get it, but maybe we'll be lifted. I got the Birds winning that game, man. I'm not worried about that against that bum Jay Cutler. Turns football over too much.
Any given Saturday.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, we hope everybody enjoyed listening. All of our followers, our listeners. Hey, keep subscribing to us on YouTube. Hit us up on Twitter at the Philly Pod. Like us on Facebook. We don't know about SoundCloud, but if you're a legit SoundCloud listener, switch on over to YouTube.
To be determined.
Yeah. If you're a legit SoundCloud listener, switch over to us on YouTube. We don't know what we're doing with SoundCloud. But again, all right, we're on Twitter at the Philly Pod. Facebook, like us, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Anyway, been a great week, guys. We got a piece out of here. I'm Dave.
I'm Mike.
We'll catch you Monday night for a preview of the Eagles taking on the Chicago Bears. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.